I am on page 36 where we have a writing exercise about the human eye. We did not have any new rules to learn in this chapter, so there's nothing to put in the reference section. You have learned all the rules that you need to do this particular exercise. So I want to read this through, as always, just the way it's written and let you listen to this. So I need to zoom in a little bit so that I can see it. This one is called the human eye. The human eye has 6 basic parts. The iris is the colored part of the eye that controls the amount of light coming in. The pupil is the hole in the middle of the eye that lets light pass through. The lens focuses light onto the back of the eye. The back of the eye is called the retina. The white part of the eye is called the sclera, and the eye is covered in front by the cornea. The cornea focuses light on the lens. That is a lot of stuff all jumbled up. So let's see if we can make some sense of this and write it the way it should be. So the first thing is the title. We know that the first, the last, and all important words need to be capitalized. I did check the indentation. That is good. It's there just like it needs to be. But this first word needs to be capitalized. The human eye has 6 basic parts. Full stop. Capital letter. The iris is the colored part of the eye that controls the amount of light coming in. Full stop. The pupil is the hole in the middle of the eye that lets light pass through. Full stop. The lens focuses light onto the back of the eye. Full stop. The back of the eye is called the retina. Full stop. Capital letter. The white part of the eye is called the sclera, and the eye is covered in front by the cornea. This is a compound sentence. There's one of those junction words, and. So we need a comma to join the two sentences, and a full stop at the end of the sentence, and then a capital letter. The cornea focuses light onto the lens. Okay. There is one other error in this passage, and I'm wondering if you caught it. I skipped over it for a reason. I wanted to see if you noticed it. And it has to do with this right there. Remember, the rule is if the number is 1 digit, we need to spell it out. So that is another small error that we need to think about. So I'm going to switch to the black pen. You could also use blue or pencil, whatever you want. And I'm going to rewrite this passage. We want to put the title, which is called The Human Eye, first, last, and all important words of the title. The human eye. Indent the first line. The human eye has 6. If you're not sure how to spell your numbers, look in your reference section where we listed all those. That's why I gave you all those spellings. Basic parts, full stop. Capitalize. The iris is the colored part of the eye. That controls the amount of light coming in. If we've done the proofreading and marked our mistakes up there, this is so much easier because I already have my mistakes noted and I can just go back and fix those. It's so much easier than trying to find the mistakes as you write, because that your brain sometimes skips over important things. So always do your proofreading and then do your writing, and it will help you. The pupil, we're starting a new sentence there, so please capitalize, is the hole in the middle of the eye that lets light pass through. Full stop. The lens focuses light onto the back of the eye. Full stop. The back of the eye is called the retina. Full stop. The white part of the eye is called the sclera. And that's a tough word to spell, so be careful. You can always look back at your passage if you need to. And I have it wrong. There's no H, is there? Let me check. Sclera. Spelling is not my thing. Comma. And, there's a conjunction. Remember boys fan? That's one of the joining words. And the eye is covered in front by the cornea. Try that again. Cornea, full stop. The cornea focuses light on the lens. Full stop. So let me reread this one with the punctuation in place, and you can tell how different this will sound. The human eye. The human eye has 6 basic parts. The iris is the colored part of the eye that controls the amount of light coming in. The pupil is the hole in the middle of the eye that lets light pass through. The lens focuses light onto the back of the eye. And the back of the eye is called the retina. The white part of the eye is called the sclera, and the eye is covered in front by the cornea. The cornea focuses light on the lens. I'm going to go ahead and annotate this one while I have it here. I'm not going to start a new video. The first thing that we want to do is look for the topic. In 3 words, what is this passage about? Well, it's about the human eye. What is the main idea? What am I trying to tell you when I write this passage? The human eye has 6 basic parts. So let's go to the keywords, the 6 parts. The iris, the pupil, the lens, the retina, the sclera, and the cornea. I'm missing something, aren't I? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, they're all there. I'm sorry. I overlooked pupil. 6 parts, 6 keywords. And if you notice in this particular passage, I put each of those keywords in its own sentence. So each keyword has a definition in its own sentence. And those definitions are the details. What does the iris do, or what is the iris? It's the colored part of the eye. It controls the amount of light coming in. The pupil is the hole in the middle of the eye that lets light pass through. The lens focuses light onto the back of the eye. The back of the eye is the retina. The white part of the eye is called the sclera, and the eye is covered in front by the cornea. So cornea is in the front, and it focuses light onto the lens. This is an informational passage. It is not compare contrast. You don't see words like both and or. This one is an informational, fact-based passage. This is like the first chapter that we did. If this is kind of confusing, I would expect that. This is a lot of science crammed into one little passage. And hopefully when we do our next page, which is this diagram of the eye, this will make a little more sense to you. We're actually going to label all of these parts. We'll color this eye, and you hopefully will have a little bit of a better understanding about the human eye. You don't need to memorize these terms. These terms you do. The ones that you have the vocabulary, those are good everyday words. But you don't need to try to memorize this stuff. This is just practice in reading. And could appear on a science test. I just don't know. So I'll see you soon for the next part, which will be the labeling of this diagram. It's a very good diagram, and I think you'll have some fun with that one. So I will see you soon. I hope you have a great day.